As part of my training for Boulder 70.3, I went up with my coach and the team for a training camp weekend in Lake Tahoe. This training camp consists of doing a swim, bike, and a run workout both Saturday and Sunday, with the main goal to do some long distance training and get acclimated to the altitude for the Boulder Half Ironman. Saturday's swim workout happens to also be an open water race, and that meant that I needed to check in and test the water as soon as we got there on Friday. Yep, it's cold. Everyone always talks about how clear Lake Tahoe is, and yeah, it's clear. I can see straight through it at my waist height right now, but we'll get a little bit deeper. It's really rocky, which, ouch, I don't mind at all, actually. So cold. It's beautiful and all, but can't feel my toes. Can start to feel my face now, so hopefully tomorrow goes okay. It's a swim race morning, and because the water temperatures are so cold, race distances are short, which means I'll be doing about a 500 meter instead of a half mile, which will mean I'll be in the water for about 12 minutes or so. I think I can handle it. But my feet are already numb because my booties are still wet from yesterday. It's all around just cold. It looks beautiful and sunny, but I assure you 55-degree water is cold. And the usual quick race start was more of a timid walk. I of course didn't get the memo and did a usual dive in, and as expected, that ice-cold water took my breath away. And I've learned that when this happens, you just gotta let your body do its thing and get used to it. I was focused on the swim, made it past the first buoy, and didn't really notice anyone around me. I just did my best to focus on my stroke and ignore that cold water. I'm not the biggest fan of swimming in open water, and anytime I see anything out of the ordinary, it creeps me out. Halfway between the first and second buoy, I saw a pipe laid on the ground underneath me. I needed a moment to recompose myself, get my head out of the water, take a few breaths, and then I was back to focusing on my stroke. If you've ever swam in open water, you'll be familiar with the fact that it's really hard to see where you're going. Your eyes are basically at ground level, and anytime there's any kind of chop or wave, you just can't see anything. It's also not uncommon for me to veer off course and not end up near anybody, but at this point in the race, there was nobody around me. Eventually, I finished the race. Well, I was in there for only about 10.5 minutes, but it was a cold 10.5 minutes. Whew, I'm really glad they shortened the race today. Got about an hour, 2 hours to warm up before I got to head on the bike. But as it turns out, I was actually second overall and first in my age group. That doesn't really happen. Definitely came to me as a big shock to stand on top of the podium, but as my coach reminded me, in order to finish first, you first must finish. And that made that cold swim just a little bit worth it. I really hope I brought 2 tubes instead of 1. Yeah, just like every bike ride outdoor, this one starts with trying to get a tire that's not flat. It's definitely good to get practice riding outside, but this is part of the reason why I really like riding indoors, is all the little things that you'd have to deal with, like sunscreen and hydration and all that stuff. Making sure you have air in your tires. Does that look good? "50 miles later, it's time to switch off and do an hour run, and my body hurts." It doesn't work. There we go. And yeah, after an hour run, I feel terrible. but I get to do it all over tomorrow. This morning we're up at Carnelian Bay, a little bit of a different beach. Still freezing cold water, and I can't believe I'm about to get back in again. Apparently Kyo doesn't think it's that cold. I think it's cold. It might be a tad bit warmer than yesterday, but it's still ice water. Poor GoPro. You okay? Let's go. Day 2 of riding and my legs are toast. I have barely any legs left. So these climbs should be fun. The good thing about putting in all the work on uphills is that you get to go downhill. I did my best pacing that 20-mile bike ride, knowing that I would have a 9-mile run right back up the same hills. So far, much better than yesterday. Calories help. Can't help but think I made a wrong turn running up this hill. It's too steep. It's too steep. At least the view's nice. Halfway done. Got a little bit more climbing to do, but we're getting there. Thank you. 9 miles was all I was prescribed for today, and that's all my legs could take today. Day 3 of being up at altitude is definitely much easier than day 1. So I'm glad I booked my travel for Boulder so I get there 3 days early. It's good to rinse off. Got a 3-hour drive home. That just about wraps up our training weekend here at Lake Tahoe. Ow. My feet are super tender. Those rocks are destroying it.